I sat in the hospital, watching my father breathe through a plastic mask. Machines hummed around us, indifferent to grief. It was past midnight when my phone buzzed. A photo from my sister. Her 2 kids grinned in front of Disneyland's fireworks. The caption read, "They needed a little happiness." You understand, right? I stared at it. My daughter, Emma, was home with a fever. My sister had promised she'd stay with her. I called. No answer. I called again, straight to voicemail. By the time I reached my house, the lights were out. The air inside felt wrong, stale, heavy. I found Emma curled on the couch, skin clammy, lips pale. The thermometer read 103.7. Her water glass was empty. The blanket lay on the floor. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I sat beside her, pressing a cold cloth to her forehead. My hands were steady, but something inside me began to fracture quietly, cleanly. When she opened her eyes and whispered, they didn't come back. I forced a smile for her sake. And in that quiet moment, I realized a trail doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it wears your sister's perfume. I sent one text. Just one. Then I turned off my phone. Morning light hit differently that day. Too bright, too cruel. My phone blinked with missed calls, voicemails, apologies. Her husband finally texted, "We're so sorry. We thought she'd be fine. It was just one night. One night." I didn't reply. I walked into Emma's room, sat on her bed, and looked at the small drawings taped to the walls. Her cousins, her aunt, all holding hands. She had drawn them in blue. No one was different in her world, but I knew better. As I watched her sleep, something inside me settled. It wasn't anger. Not yet. It was understanding that people don't fail you by accident. They fail you because they assume you won't hold them accountable. I made coffee, fed Emma soup, waited. By noon, my sister and her husband arrived, feigning shock, feigned remorse. They hugged Emma first. Tears, theatrics. Then they looked at me. I just said, "She's fine." The silence that followed was heavier than any confrontation. They thought they had been forgiven. That was the point. Over the next week, I watched them unravel. Their smiles came too quickly, their concern too rehearsed. They avoided eye contact whenever I mentioned trust or responsibility. At night, I went through their social media. Photos, check-ins, posts. They hadn't just gone to Disneyland. They went with friends, couples, and my sister. She looked freer than I had seen her in years. I noticed something in her husband's body language, his hand always hovering too close, the way he laughed only when she spoke. The tension was palpable, the kind people try to hide but never can. Memories of the past year replayed in my mind, how she lingered after family dinners, how he helped with errands, how my father once joked they were inseparable. It clicked slowly, painfully. Leaving my daughter alone wasn't carelessness. It was convenience. They hadn't gone to Disneyland to escape the hospital. They went to escape the guilt, the lie they'd built together. I didn't confront them. Not yet. I wanted them to keep pretending. Pretending makes people sloppy. I started collecting proof, quietly. Phone records, hotel receipts, security footage. Every piece painted the same picture. Her betrayal didn't start last night. It began months ago. Girls' weekends. Late-night calls that never made sense. When I finally saw the photo, her hand on his chest, his lips on her neck, it didn't shock me. It aligned everything. That night, I invited them over for dinner. Polite, civil. They came smiling, unaware. Halfway through the meal, I slid an envelope across the table. No words. No drama. My sister opened it. Photos, receipts, timeline. Her hand shook. Her husband's jaw tightened. "You're sick," she whispered. "You planned this." "No," I said softly. "You did." The air collapsed between us. They didn't apologize. They didn't deny it. They just sat there, realizing I had known long before tonight. I didn't scream. I didn't threaten. I reached into my bag and handed her a second envelope. "Guardianship transfer papers for Emma. Sign them," I said. "You'll never see her again." Her voice broke. "You can't do this." "I already did," I replied. She looked at her husband. He looked away. I saw it. The moment their lines cracked. Betrayers don't stay loyal when the light hits them. By morning, the news had spread. Photos, affair, her career gone, his reputation shattered. All without a raised voice. One text, one dinner, one truth. It's been 3 months. Dad's stable. Emma's healthy. My sister moved states away. Her husband filed for divorce. I haven't spoken to either since. Sometimes I wonder if they ever talk about that night. If they realize I didn't ruin them, they did that themselves. I sit by the window now, coffee cooling in my hand, watching Emma draw. She still uses blue for everyone. She still believes the world is kind. I don't correct her. The truth. The world is only cruel when you trust the wrong people with what you love most. And I've learned, you don't need to raise your voice to destroy someone. You just stay silent long enough for them to hear their own guilt echo back. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and comment. Subscribe to Cheating Stories Insight World for more incredible stories.